images.
Okay.
Okay, so let's say how to store images in our static resources and how to use it in our VA page. Okay, these are small examples. Okay, so which will give you idea. Okay, so basically what we have to do is nothing but, so we have to copy a image to add it in a static resource. Okay, what we will do, so
Okay.
go to static resource. Okay, so I
Mm-hmm.
already
Yeah.
added. Okay, so this is a test zip. Okay, so create a new thing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, add those file here. Okay, so that file
Okay.
name is something called test zip, right? So
Mm-hmm.
where is that? This one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so give name like test zip.
Okay.
Okay, test zip to make it public. Okay, public
Mm-hmm.
and private, two things are there. Public means it will be everybody can able to access this particular resources. Okay,
Okay.
if you make
Mm-hmm.
it as a private, then basically only the user who created it, right, that guy can only, he can able to access it in his Apex or VF page.
Okay.
Okay, clear.
Yeah.
Okay, so assume this is a file. Okay, this is a
Mm-hmm.
test zip. So it is having all the details.
Yeah.
Okay, how to use this particular thing in our VF page.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, how to use this thing in a VF page. Okay, I have
Okay.
used one more thing, the tiger images directly I have inserted here. If you see here, it is not a zip file,
Yeah.
this is a direct, tiger images directly added it here. Okay, see
Okay.
here, this is a direct image. Okay, so now if you
Mm-hmm.
want to show these particular images in any of your VF page, then
Mm-hmm.
basically, so we have to create a VF page and we have to use these particular images here. Okay,
Okay.
how to use that is nothing but uh, static resource image. Okay, so there is some
Mm-hmm.
attribute called apex image.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Yes.
there is some attribute called apex image. Okay, there is a
Okay.
property called URL. Okay, there is a property called URL.
Okay.
In that
Mm-hmm.
URL, so basically we have to use this particular thing. Okay, these things are common thing. Okay, these are the standard things. URL for resource dot, so we have to give the name of the static resource here.
Okay.
Okay, name of the static resource here. So here this is nothing but a absolute path. So our image is located in images
That
dot post.
MIME.
Sorry, come again.
So that is that MIME type path, right? Which is a static resource.
Sorry, come again, I didn't get you.
So I am saying this images slash logo dot png. This is the
Path.
static resources as MIE type, right?
Correct. Where the our
So just go
exact.
to static. Just go to static resource once, please.
Okay, so this is images, right? Images.
Yeah.
So inside the images, these logos are so you have to take this path and logo path. Okay. So
Okay.
this is
Yeah.
nothing. This is nothing but a name of the static resource.
Okay.
Okay. So name of the static resource is nothing but this one, test zip, right? Test zip
Mm-hmm.
is a name of the static
Mm-hmm.
resource. Correct.
Yeah. Correct.
Clear, right? So resource is nothing but these things
Yeah.
are like standard things. Okay. This is name of the static resource. This is nothing but
Mm-hmm.
a path where it is located.
Okay.
Clear?
Yeah.
Okay, here we can able to give a width and height for that particular images.
Yeah.
Okay, any question?
Yes. No.
Okay, so this is the one way. This is the one way if you are inserting a static resource as a zip file. Correct. So in
Yeah.
that case, basically we have to mention like this. If you are inserting a single static resource as a plain
Mm-hmm.
resource, something like this, what I did for
Mm-hmm.
images, then no need of
Mm-hmm.
going like this actually. So you can directly go like this also.
Okay.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
resources, just give the static resource name, so directly it is go and displaying those particular things.
Okay.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
clear?
Yeah.
Okay, so now if I go and click on preview, okay, see here,
Mm-hmm.
these two things are coming.
Yes.
Okay, So you can
Yes.
add some styles and all, so that you can put it exactly where you want.
Okay.
Okay, in the page, so exactly, let's say you want to paste some, show some images, or you want to show some logo, then basically you have to use lot of styles sheet to make it alignment.
Okay.
Clear?
Yeah.
Any doubt?
No, no.
Okay, so this is how where we can
Mhm.
add the images and logos to the page.
Yeah.
Clear?
Yeah.
Clear, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So this is a images. Okay. So how to do it for a CSS file? Let's say how to do for a CSS. Okay, CSS we know, right?
Yeah.
So if you want to make it as a very what do you call it? Looking feel.
Something like if you want to do a custom styling for a custom page, then you can create one CSS as an external file, store in a static resource, or you can do it inline CSS also. Like inside the code only, you can write your own inline CSS on Visual Force page also.
Correct.
So like that.
Yeah. So if you want to give a very rich UI for a customer, so then basically we have to go for a CSS. Okay. Okay. So in that case, so we have to go out of the Salesforce and we have to embed lot of CSS or jQuery, Bootstrap, any kind of UI technology it will support. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
So we have to embed that. So here it is a one simple example. Okay. Where we are making a. This is basically a page block table.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, this is basically a page block table. Okay.
Yes.
So
Yes.
page block table, how it will display? So normally so it will display like a row wise and column wise, right? Correct?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
if you want to add some kind of rich UI lookup, so then basically we have to add these kind of look and feel CSS. Okay.
Okay.
So this is basically inline CSS. Inline means I am writing CSS code inside the VF page itself. Okay.
Okay.
So if you want to make it external, copy this thing in the some file. Let's say copy this thing in some file. Okay.
And just store it as CSS.
Yeah, save it as some xyz.css and store it in the static resource file.
Yeah. And refer that to using static resources then.
Correct.
Yeah.
Refer those things in the here. So here basically what we have to do, instead of apex.image, in the previous example we use apex.image, right? Here
Yeah,
we
yeah.
have to use apex style sheet.
Okay, yeah, yeah. So that style sheet tag
so,
used it. Yeah.
correct. So some see here apex.style sheet value is equal to, we have to give the path of the style sheet.
Yeah, yeah. Correct.
Okay. So we have to give a path of the style sheet. Okay. So if you see this particular example, see, so it will see something like this. This is something like look UI, right?
Yeah,
So we are
yeah.
adding some colors and all, some different buttons with colors and all. Okay, so this is basically we are providing a UI. Okay, so giving a very high look and feel. Okay, so if you so we have to learn more about some HTML tabs. If you go to W3 schools or tutorial points, so there so basically they will explain what and all things to
Okay.
make a rich UI. Clear, right? How to do that?
Yeah, yeah, clear, clear.
Okay, so you have to explore more actually, because this thing, right? This is HTML, right? This is a pure HTML because we are coming out from the Salesforce and we are making a rich UI.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, so this is clear, right?
yeah, yeah, clear.
Okay, I will show. I will pass this particular code so you can use it up.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Okay, so this is nothing but a inline CSS, correct?
Yeah.
So this is nothing but a inline CSS. If you want to use external CSS, okay, so what we can do, so we have stored some CSS file in the static resource.
Yes.
Okay, I am referring something like this. Okay,
Okay.
I am using that particular CSS here. Something
Okay.
called styles class. So there's something styles will be there. So there I am referring their CSS.
So basically you are giving that button a different styling using CSS. That's why you are referring here.
Correct, correct. So style class is nothing but one of the attribute to substitute the styles. Okay. Okay. So if you open this particular UI, see here it is coming some look and feel, right? Some different color basically.
Yes, yes,
Correct.
yes.
So this is basically by use of the external CSS.
Okay.
Okay. The difference is there is no difference. Okay. So if you are using some external CSS, then the page loading, it won't take much time.
Okay. Mhm.
Okay, so page loading, it won't take a much time.
Okay.
Okay, clear, right? If you are
Yeah,
using
yeah, clear.
if you are using as a inline CSS, then basically it will take more time to load the page, because
Yes, correct.
CSS, JavaScript and all, everything it will load first. After that it will render the page.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is clear, right? So what at all styles you want, like
Yeah.
basically this alignment, look and feel, or rendering a kind of rich UI, then basically we can implement any kind of UI logic here. Either it's
Okay.
HTML or nowadays HTML5, right? Everything is HTML5 now. Okay.
Yeah.
That one, and also like Bootstrap, okay, JavaScript, these kind of things basically we can embed it into a VF page.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so this is basically for external CSS. Okay.
Yeah.
And third thing is nothing but how to use a JavaScript.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So how to use a JavaScript. JavaScript. JavaScript is we know, right? So I have explained you during some creation buttons and all.
Yeah.
Buttons. If you remember, so I have used some JavaScript during creating a custom buttons. Correct. Okay.
Yes.
So
Yes.
in the JavaScript also there is a two types. So inline JavaScript as well as external JavaScript. Okay, same like inline CSS and
Yeah.
external CSS. Okay. So there is some validation JavaScript I have written it here. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
this is a method, it is calling somewhere here. Okay, just for validating the whether they have entered input field or not.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
Whenever clicking on the button, so it is validate function is happening. I will show you the preview so that you will get some idea. Okay, so there is account name and external ID will be there. I am not entering any values. I am just clicking on insert. It is saying account name is mandatory because these things. So we are not going controller actually, correct? So we
Yeah.
are not going to controller. So we are validating these things in the our VA page itself.
While
So
entering a data only, you are asking the user to check this.
correct, correct.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
See, this one we can check it in the controller also, right? We can
Yeah.
add a
But then in
page.
that
Yeah,
case, the data will be saved, and after that, it will be run, right?
correct, correct. So data it will be taken, it will go to
No.
controller, it will check in controller, it will come back to VA page and it will render. That is nothing but a lot of time consuming, right? So this is
Yes,
nothing
lot of
but
time.
yeah, a lot of time consuming actually. So for that purpose, so basically everyone is using a JavaScript. Okay, clear?
Okay.
So same JavaScript, so we can
Yeah,
use
yeah.
it as a inline JavaScript, or else we can make it as a
External
same
JavaScript.
JavaScript, copy paste it in some file ending with a .js, load it in a static resource and refer those JavaScript something like apex.include script. Okay,
Okay.
apex.image.
So include script better.
Yeah,
Okay.
apex.image for imaging, apex.stylesheet for CSS, apex.include script for JavaScript.
JavaScript.
Okay, clear?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Clear, right?
Yes, yes. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So this is also same thing. So JavaScript, it's a very good actually. So but writing JavaScript is little bit hectic because if you
Yeah.
miss, if you make it as small or capital also, capital letter also, sometimes it will throw a lot of errors. Even though it is very hard to debug JavaScript.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Any question?
No.
No, right? Okay. So this is about a static resources. Okay, so how to use a JavaScript or how to use a CSS or how to use our images. Okay, so yeah, CSS only little bit. Basically, we have to spend a more time. It will come only on keep on working on CSS. Nothing actually. So if you want to create some buttons or something, just Google it, copy paste that code. If you work on 2 3
Like CSS HTML, I can write also because in my colleges also I have done it.
yeah, that is easy only.
Digging more.
1 hour
That is
just
not
for
something which I have practiced.
yeah, just you have to practice. That's it. Okay, so this is about the static resources.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Okay, so that's it about this one. So yeah, so now we'll discuss something. Yeah, so you have any use cases, something you are talking about, ER diagram, something?
No, so I was thinking that you will be having some BRD and how, basically what I want is, so for example, we have a BRD or business requirements, okay? So by going through that requirements, we have to come up with the entities, right? Entities means nothing but basically object in Salesforce. So how to come up with that? So for example, just take a use case called loyalty management system. Okay, loyalty management system for retail domain. So just listening to the use case and then digging down more than into detailed requirements, then I have to come up with the entity relationship diagram. Okay, these are the objects, and this object will have this relationship and all those. So basically it's a part of designing, to be really honest.
Correct. So it is basically designing, right?
Yeah.
So for example, for example, I'll give you an example. Okay, so something called assume it is a resource management system.
Okay.
Resource management system.
Mhm.
Okay, something called a resource management system. Okay,
Okay.
so there will be two phases for resource management means, so just managing a resources for some project.
Yes, correct.
Okay, so there is a two phases. Phase means one side is nothing but a client will be there, client. Okay, and another side there is a resource will be there.
Okay.
Correct. So one side there is a client will be there, and another side there will be something called resource will be there.
Okay.
Okay, so client, we have to store all the information about. Now you got it right. There is a two phase. One is client and one is a resources. Okay, resource
Yes.
are nothing but it's employee.
Yes.
Okay, so now if you're going through this, so it's the initial design, right? Going through this, where we can store these two data. One is a client and one is a resources. Correct. So client information basically we can store it in the account object. Correct.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so resource details. Resource means in my company I am having 1000 employees. Correct. Where to store? Basically I can store it in some custom object employee. Correct.
Okay.
Custom object employee. So employee is having all the details like name, DOB, okay, and his address, okay, his skills,
Salaries and all.
his experience, so on. Okay, maybe salary, so on. Okay, we'll go in high level. Okay, this one. And client is having just client. Client may be a new client or maybe it's an existing client. Correct. So I'm from Wipro. Okay, so last month we have delivered one project. So again he is coming with some new project. Correct. He's already having a entry in account. Account is nothing but an entry, right? So all the client information we can store it in the account detail.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so there is a one more thing called, so where the project will come. Correct. The client is there and resources are there. So now third thing is client is looking for some project, right? Correct.
Yes.
So there will be one more entity called project. It is a custom. It is a custom object, correct?
Yeah, it's a
So
custom.
we are storing all the details about project in this particular object. Correct? So basically it is having what? So account ID. Correct? So project name. Okay. So project detail,
Business name.
description. Okay, SOW. Okay. Then number of resources required, so on. All these things it will be stored in a project.
Yes.
Correct. If you see here, project and accounts are it is nothing but what? So many to many. Okay, many to many, because so it is a one-to-one. Okay, so this project is associated to one account. Correct. All the related things are required in the project object. Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so based on our requirement we can split to the some other two more child object also. Okay, account and project. Okay, so if you come to employee, okay, so yeah, employee details, it will be available here. Okay, we can make the skills as a separate object instead of adding there. So basically we can make a skills as a separate object.
So how to, so that's what my, so now in that case, so how you will decide that skill should be differently stored and it should not be stored as a field in employee object? How you decide that?
See, basically, what it will happen. So this is basically we will call it as a normalization. Okay. So
Yeah.
generally we will call it as a normalization.
Okay.
Okay. What normalization is nothing but, so we have to avoid unnecessary data storage in our system. Like basically duplicate. We have to avoid duplicate data storage.
Basically, we don't have to store a repetitive data in Salesforce. That's
Correct.
the
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
Okay. Either it's a generally. So it is not only for Salesforce. It is just in a database concept.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So assume, so there is a something called skills is there. Assume skill is a one object. So there will be many record, right? So you are a Java background or it's a SFDC, Apex, VHub, and you are good in integration. Okay, and you are good in UI design. Okay, so on so on. Okay.
Okay.
Assume there is a assume if there is a 1,000 employees. Okay, assume if it's 1,000 employees. So if you are storing Java for each employee, so it is nothing but how many times 1,000 into 4 letter, right? So there is a some byte
1,000
data it is going to store it up in the employee. So instead of writing these things, everything in this particular thing, you can directly go and refer the skill ID here, right?
Yeah.
Correct, because the master data store it here. So here we are just giving a reference. For reference, it won't consume much data because this is just a virtual reference, right? That is basically we will call it as a normalization.
Okay.
Okay, so
So
that is
you tell me one thing now. In this case, for example, we have an employee object, right? So we are storing, so we are creating an employee record. So for example, there is an employee called Suresh, no? And he's, so we are storing skill. So we are having a multi-select pick list for skills, and I am selecting. Okay, Suresh have Java, SFDC, Apex, integration, and everything. Okay. Then again, I will be creating a second record called as Akhand, and I will be selecting SFDC, administration, configuration, business analysis, and save it. Okay. So those are the two records get saved. Okay. So in this case also, so we don't need a skill object in that case, right? Why we need to go for a skill object in this? If I go for a multiplex pick list, select pick list, we are not going to duplicate the data there, right? We are creating a different employee altogether.
different employee.
So you are creating a different employee record. You are not duplicating. Like so, Suresh stored
Say,
one.
assume, hold on. Say, assume there's a two things. Okay, assume four things. Assume these skills are same.
Yeah.
Java. Okay. So assume this guy. Java, SFDC. Okay, assume this one Java, .NET.
Okay.
Okay, so this is assume SFDC. So assume consider as a 4 byte of data is storing. Assume it is a 1 byte. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bytes are storing here for only this thing. Correct. If you are referring as a lookup, then it won't take that much of memory location here.
Okay.
That is nothing but a normalization. So assume you are having a 10,000 record for each record we are storing this data, right? Whether it's a string field or whether it's a multiplic list or whatever it may be.
Whatever.
Correct. So everywhere, assume it is a column. So each column we are storing this data. In that case, what it will happen? It is a redundancy, right? So Java everywhere is say Salesforce everywhere is there. Instead of storing like this, store it in one place. Refer that places. In that case, you can save the lot of data storage, right? That is nothing but a normalization.
Okay. And it will also give the faster result when you give a SQL query, right?
Correct. That's also one thing. And also another things, right? So wherever you are using a same data again and again, in that case, it is always has to go with a some child object.
Okay.
Let's say you are running one company. Okay, you are having some dealership in many places. Okay, like let's say India. Okay, let's assume you are having on 10,000 dealers in India. Okay, so instead of their writing their address everywhere, For each record, where instead of writing address everywhere, we can create a one more child object called address, and we can refer those things in there, right? So that we can avoid unnecessary storing the duplicate address there, right?
Okay. Yes.
You got it? You clear with concept?
Yeah. Clear.
Okay. So instead of loading a duplicate data everywhere, okay, just create it as a child object and refer that object there. And basically look up, right?
So basically, to avoid duplicacy of data in a Salesforce or any database, we go for that normalization. So basically, we think of child object, different object, create a master list of those things like that, and refer that into one object.
Yes. That is nothing but a masterization. That is basically called normalization. So we have to do as much as possible.
Yeah. Okay. So this is one example. Good. So like we have one more example. Say, have you heard of ClassPass?
Sorry?
Have you heard an example of ClassPass?
ClassPath.
ClassPass. So there's some product Salesforce have given a demo on in Dreamforce. Okay.
I don't know. I didn't check. Okay.
So that is something which is related to like connecting the different gymming. Like so, basically, we have multiple gyms in one particular city. Okay. But what ClassPass does is you can take the membership of that ClassPass, and he will guide you to the nearest location of that. So like that. So that is a different altogether. Let it be. So let's take loyalty management system. Okay. So in loyalty management system, what are the different entities we have to think of? So let me rephrase. So in loyalty management, one will be customer information. So obviously there will be a customer entity, customer object. Okay. Then there will be a loyalty points. So loyalty points, loyalty membership, you can say.
Yeah, there is a membership required. Correct. Membership required. Okay.
So
yeah, one is a membership. One is about the
another project.
Go ahead.
Then there should be a object called rule engine. So for example, if I am maintaining this level of loyalty, like for example, if you are more loyal to my shop, so I will give you an extra discount. So for that I will prepare one rule. So I will prepare so I will have one object says rule engine where I will configure those things. Okay, if this particular customer belongs to gold, so please give him 5% more discount. Automatically that rule will trigger when you buy some item on with my shop, like that.
So basically, yeah. So we have to add one more object called reward points or something. In that case,
rule engine, whatever you can say.
Yeah. Rule engine is basically we have to handle it in a backend. Either it may be trigger or it may be somewhere controller, right? So that is nothing but a business logic.
Okay.
Rule engine is a logic. We have to write it in either trigger. Let's say if he bought something or if he purchased something, then we have to calculate his number of purchasing or amount of things he purchased, and based on that we have to calculate some points and we have to store it in some separate object. For that we need some separate object, correct? So that will be some junction object or it may separate object. So that object will store a employee like customer ID and points, like that. So that separate object is required. Okay, so customer information, reward points, and their purchasing history, and their personal details, and product details, correct? Product details required, and if you are giving some any offer or something, that separate some object required, like offer object, where we can fill all those offer objects. From that you can display those offers in your CRM. Those kind of things we can come up with.
So one more thing, like I just want to ask, like since you are working like for long now here, so do you have some examples like you have a documents like requirement document or technical design document which you must have prepared, or any of your technical architect or senior have been prepared that?
Technical document will be there, but I can't show, right? So because these are all the SOS complaints, so we can't show it. Yeah, it will be there. See, basically, if you have a BRD, okay. So let's say if you are on complete BRD, then what we are doing. So once you got a complete BRD, so then basically we are going through their business in detail, right? So they will give a complete virtual demo for you, like we are doing like this, like this, like this. In that case, so basically we are coming up with a virtual ER diagram. Okay, designing a ER diagram. Then basically we can put it in our flowchart as flowchart, right? So or else there will be a lot of ER diagram tool will be there. Okay, so there we are mentioning the we are creating a ER diagram. Let's say table, what and all fields are required. Okay, and how it is mapped to other object. Then based on that we are demo it to a client. So then client they will go through that, because we don't know everything, right? Because client know the exact picture, but we don't know the exact picture. Then there will be a correction will happen. Then we are finalizing the ER diagram. Okay. Once everything ER diagram is done, then basically we are preparing a technical document. Okay, so technical document which will contains all the, like, in brief description, like how many objects we are going to create, what is the object name, what are all the fields.
So I understand that, Suresh. That I understood what it contains and what are the contents and everything. That's fine. So I just so I'm asking, like, can you pass me one or two examples of it? I will not share with anyone. I can understand it's a part of confidentiality and all those stuff.
No man, I can't share those actually. I can't share. That and all
Yeah,
very
that's not my idea.
Yeah, but you got a clear picture, right? So if you have any, like requirement, you can go through that. Okay, but I can't share actually, because these are the very, these things, very things, because audit will happen. If we pass any things from our this one, right, computer also, it will be everything. It will be recorded in our server.
Okay.
So that's the thing. We can't share. You got a clear picture, right?
Yeah.
Basically, BRD. See, the thing is simple. So BRD will come once BRD is done. So basically, we are sketching the ER diagram. Right? If you go to ER diagram tool, we can ER diagram. That's we are sending ER diagram. Once they approve, then basically we are preparing a detailed document. Okay, so detailed document about how we can make those things. Hold on. So if I have something in my machine.
So you can stop recording now.